Hello, my Indian friends and global friends. I am Dr. Jitendra Joshi, the founder president of Global India Business Forum, a leading international business chamber having more than 97,000 members in the world now. And we work for more than 154 countries and promoting not just Indian SMEs but the global SMEs, which is always the backbone of any country. Argentina is one of the second largest country in South America in terms of size. It is the eighth largest country in terms of size in the world. And we know Argentina is very famous because since long, maybe since 1980s, we know because of Maradona and now because of Messi, this country is very famous. And when we see in terms of business opportunity also in Latin America, it is the second largest economy in South America. So friends, we are here in the embassy of Argentina in Delhi. And with me today, the ambassador of Argentina in India, and I welcome you, sir. I request you to please introduce yourself, and maybe our viewers also want to know about your diplomatic career and your presence in India for last 1 year now.
Thank you very much for having this this opportunity. It's a great pleasure to be with you, with all the work you are doing to promote India, to promote relations with other countries. Well, of course, yes, I'm Mariano Caucino is my name. I have been here as an ambassador to India since June 2024, so it will be 1 year and a half.
Yeah, 1.5 years,
yes. It seems more because we have done so much. But the country is so big, it's so amazing. But yes, I arrived here in 1 year and a half. Previously, in previous diplomatic posts, I served as ambassador to Costa Rica and as ambassador to Israel. And before that, I used to work in the academy. I was a professor of.
Oh, you were an educationist, basically.
Yes, I was a professor.
Okay.
For international relations, foreign policy, contemporary history, and I work in that field. I wrote a number of books.
Great.
That's where I come from.
Nice to see as an educationist and as a professor, because you know better about the two country, how they should perform, and ultimately you are in touch with youngsters. Those are the future of any country. Friends, Argentina is also very famous for its dance, music, food, Argentinian wine, and many more things about Argentina we can talk about. Also, we know the Argentina is also been surrounded by a country like Brazil, Peru, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay. So these are the 5-6 countries surrounded by Argentina. And before starting some bilateral discussion, Excellency, we just want to know more about the Argentinian culture and these food wars. Definitely, what is your opinion in terms of in the next 5 years, maybe India and Argentina relationship in terms of culture, how we should go ahead with these aspects of life?
Well, Argentina is a country that belongs to a different region of the world than India. Of course, we are part of the Latin American culture, which is part of the Western world. Our population is mainly a mix, I would say, between original population that lived there for hundreds or thousands of years, and especially with the special influence of European immigration in the last 150 or
mainly the Spanish and
mainly Spanish, no, and Italian. In the case of Argentina, I would say people from Spain and people from Italy. Of course, people from Germany, also from France, or from even some Portuguese, but mainly Spain and Italy are the two countries that send more people to us. For example, my own family is from Italian origin and Spanish origin. It's a mix between the two of them, more Italian than Spanish. But it's part of Latin America, no? So it is a country that belongs to a different region, a different culture from India. There are no, for example, there is no. The Indian community there in Argentina is very small, extremely small. The Argentine community here is even smaller. So that's something that it has to be taken on account, because sometimes you have different experience. For example, when I used to be ambassador to Israel, for example.
Okay.
There you have a huge Argentine community there. You have 1% of the population of Israel is from Argentine origin.
Big number.
Yes, it's more than 100,000 people out of a country of 9 million people. But here in India, we have a huge population. You are the most populated country in the world, almost 1.5 billion.
1.5 billion, yeah.
But there are no Argentines here, and that is something that is a reality. But we have to know that unfortunately we don't count on two communities working together. So that's why the relationship from the diplomatic relation is so important. But currently we are working very good. Argentina and India we have been developing a 75-year friendship, but in the last 6 years this relationship was elevated to the rank of strategic partnership. Right. And currently India is our 6th largest trade partner. Okay. So we have a economic relationship between the two countries of around $5 billion, which for Argentina is an important number. Right. And that makes India the 6th trade partner to Argentina.
Great. When Excellency, we talk about the bilateral trade, and as you say, almost the 75 years of the relationship between India and Argentina, and definitely trade is booming regularly. When we talk about specifically the bilateral trade, and for our Indian SMEs, those who are very keen about the Latin American market actually, and I just said there are so many countries surrounded by Argentina. What do you want to suggest for our Indian businessmen, investors, those who are keen for Argentina? What sectors and what sort of business opportunities actually the Argentina is offering for our Indian colleagues?
The first thing that you have to take on account is that the Argentine economy and the Indian economy enjoy a great degree of complementarity, right. Which can be said of other countries in the region. And I would say that in some way the South American economies and the Asian economies are very complementary. In the case specifically of Argentina and India, in terms of agriculture, we are providing food security to India. We are number one provider in soybean oil, number 3 in sunflower oil. But we can even be more important food security provider if, for example, India, that requires other type of products, agricultural products, for example, allow us to bring them, because you know this country is still very protectionist. It's no secret. Yes. But so in that sense, we could be even more close, or we can even cooperate more with India. I know that some people here are working on this. Others, of course, have other concerns, but this is something in which we could work more. And even if India reduces some of its import taxes, that are very, very high, for example, in wines, that are extremely high, not only for Argentina, but for the rest of the world. Then you have mining, for example. Right. Mining. Right. In terms of mining, the cooperation is very important, because we have huge reserves of natural resources that are needed by India. For example, let's say lithium, which is needed for the development of your programs of EVs, electric vehicles and other programs you are developing. In that case, you need this resource, and the Indian government is saying that they don't want to depend on only one provider. One
specific country, yes. Yeah.
What is absolutely wise, I think is correct from your point of view, to not to depend on one provider. And in that case, Argentina is working with you. That's why there are some Indian companies working already in the province of Catamarca, for example, which is a state in the north of Argentina, whose governor was here in February this year, Raúl Jalil, and they're working very good. But there are other possibilities. For example, Argentina has a huge reserve of natural gas in the south of Argentina. It's called Vaca Muerta. It's among the most important in the world. And Argentina has offered to provide that resource. And in this case, if that is achieved, now there have been signed 3 MOUs between Indian companies and the National Oil and Gas Company of Argentina, with his chairman, Horacio Marín, was here. But if that is fulfilled, let's say, that will allow in Argentina to provide not only food security, but not only mining security, but energy security. It could be another provider. Because you are growing so much, India has become the fifth largest economy. You are becoming the fourth now. It will be the third at the end of this decade. So, but you don't have enough energy here. You need to buy energy. So, and in this case, again, I heard very wisely the Minister of Petrol, Puri, that he always says that he has to guarantee to the Indian people a number of providers. And in that case, Argentina can also work with you.
Any other sector, Excellency, you want to say these are the opportunities for Indian businessmen, maybe for imports or exports from Argentina specifically?
Well, Argentina is, as I was telling you, is a country. You have to take a look. You were saying at the beginning of this conversation, Argentina is the 8th largest country in the world.
True.
India is the 7th. It's almost the same. India is a little larger, but it's more or less the same. And I would say that even Argentina has more variety of climates, because we have, our geography is, you can fly 5 hours.
Quite long, yes.
Yes, from the north to the south. So it is a country that its scale, it's a variety of climates and variety of geographical variety. It can only be compared to a country as the US. So in the sense that you have different climates, different regions, different. So that gives the opportunity to one country to, in that only territory, to produce different type of resources. But at the same time, Argentina has only 50 million people.
Yes, that is a big difference.
Well, for in Indian terms, it's
the similar size of country.
If you add Delhi and Mumbai, you will have more people than Argentina, and 50 million is not so little, no? Because there are some countries that have much less population. But what I'm trying to say is that you have a huge country with a huge variety of possibilities and relatively small population, let's say. So that gives the opportunity that many of those resources can be exported, that many of those resources can can be provided to a country as India. And that's why, and that is something that repeats itself in other countries in the region. That's why the India-Latin America relationship and the India-South American relationship is evolving so much, which is very positive, because a high level of complementarity, as we were saying.
Do you think, Excellency, any opportunity if somebody want to be in Argentina, based in Argentina, maybe some manufacturer actually, how he will get the services in the surrounding country, because surrounding like the Brazil, Chile, Bolivia, Uruguay, Paraguay. So how maybe they can plan if they will be a part of Argentinian business scenario, how they will get benefit apart from Argentina, other surrounding business opportunities?
Argentina is founding member of Mercosur. Mercosur is a trade bloc, let's say, it was an economic bloc, better said, between Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay. And as you know, Brazil is the largest country in the region.
Yes.
Brazil is a huge country, but it's in some way it can be said that under the grouping of Mercosur, in some way it works as only one country, the four of us. So. For example, for the trade negotiations, for example. So once you establish in one country, you can work very good in the other 3 countries. And Brazil is so important. Brazil is half of South America in terms of GDP. So I think it's a very good opportunity to invest there in Argentina, and with thinking in the region, of course. Also, the Argentine Congress passed last year a law of promotion of investments, with giving more opportunities and facilities to companies establishing there. So it's a great opportunity, since we are having now a number of economic reforms in order to modernize the economy and to give more opportunities to the private sector and the companies and the individuals to develop their economies without or with the minimum regulation possible, or the necessary, let's say, with the minimum intervention of the government as far as it is possible, no? Because we have been having for many decades, unfortunately, policies that complicated economy, as you have here, no? It's nothing new, but the government is trying to deregulate the economy in a way that it can be, I won't say the same, but it can be compared philosophically with those reforms that were implemented here since 1991, which, as a matter of fact, I can tell you that when Prime Minister Modi was in Buenos Aires in July, during his conversations with the President Milei, I had the opportunity to be there, and that deregulation policies were part of the conversation, because the Argentine ministers and the President itself and many ministers of the cabinet, they were asking Prime Minister Modi how India was modernizing its economy.
And in terms of export, for example, like you suggested for the Indian import, like the gas and many other things are India can import from Argentina. In the similar way, when the Indian exporters are looking for the good market like the China is doing, where India has a huge potential of that manufacturing, which product, Excellency, you can suggest that these are the requirements of Argentina for time to come, for the next 5 years, if you can say by 2030, these are the products maybe Indian exporters can think to export from here to Argentina?
Well, there are some, for example, two-wheelers, there are some exports from India to Argentina. I think they have good companies there. They work in that. It's many other areas. Of course, it's not the type of... I'm not so familiar with that because my job, as you know, is to promote Argentina here. But I know that there are some companies exporting there. And I think also that India is growing so much and it's developing its economy that Indian companies will be more present in the world one way or the other.
Yes.
Not only in Argentina, no, in the rest of the world, yes. Yeah. Because the country is growing so much and because the population of India is so big and also that because Indian people are so well located in some countries, for example in the US, no, that you have
almost 5 million plus.
Yes, but I read the other day, I learned the other day from Samir Saran, from the head of the ORF, the Observe Research Foundation. He was telling me that India has 5 million people in the US, or Indian origin people, which is 1.5 of the population of the entire country. But in terms of American taxpayers, it represents much more. It's like 5% or something like that, or 6%, because they are very well paid. So it's people that are able to, skillful workers or entrepreneurs, and so I think that it will be happening the same in our region, in our countries, in Argentina. I have been flying all around the country extensively, and I had the opportunity to visit, for example, some companies in Bangalore, let's say, high-tech and IT companies, and they told me they are thinking on the possibility of expanding their activities in Latin America, and that they were thinking in Argentina. So we hope that is undergone soon.
Well said, Excellency. As you know, the Mr. Modi and your president is doing so well to develop the bilateral trade relationship for the last few years. What do you think? What more to be done in these areas actually, so that we can increase the volume, as you said, the business?
Well, there is the Indian government and the Indian authorities say that they want to double the trade relationship between India and Latin America. Today is around $50 billion, out of which Argentina represents approximately 5 or a little more than that. Then you have Brazil with more, of course. Then you have other countries, Peru, for example. And but Argentina is a very important contributor to that number. But I can tell you, Argentina and India could have a larger trade relationship, even more than that 5 billion or 6 billion, which was the record. But to fulfill this, there are at least two things that have to be managed, and in which we are working every day, but it's not so easy. First, India, the Indian government has to provide Argentina, in this case, and other countries the same, some more level of predictability in terms of the possibility of buying some products. For example, here in India, during some months of the year or some periods, you require some type of lentils or other type of agricultural products that cannot be produced here, or that the local production is not enough to satisfy the domestic market. But they need to open that with a predictability, because you can't say, okay, I open for 1 month, because in 1 month you are not able, the producers in the other country are not able to do the seeds and all the procedure. That takes time. But if that period is you can achieve some sort of predictability, in that case a country as Argentina can provide much more of those products. The second is, if the country allows us to sell some products that we are already producing, but that they are not able to enter here, and that's, for example, walnuts and so many others that we have been working. So I can assure you that if those requirements are fulfilled, trade could be much more, and that would be for the good of the Indian consumers, for the Indian domestic consume, because you will be getting more options and more and cheaper products for the Indian families. The same in energy, that I would say. So many things can be increased, many things can be promoted. That's why we need the governments to be able to provide legal or regulatory framework in which individuals, in which companies, in which the private sector of the two countries can work together for the good of both countries, for the mutual benefit of those countries.
Can FTA be a good solution? Free trade agreement?
Well, Argentina is part of Mercosur, as I was telling you. So Argentina and the other three founding members of the Mercosur are working in the idea that the existing agreement between India and Mercosur, which was signed in 2004, is a PTA, is a preferential trade agreement, but involves only very few products. It has to be expanded, and in that we all agree. India agrees, the 4 countries of the region agree, but then you have to work on that.
Actually, officially signing.
Now the presidency of the bloc is under Brazil until late till December. Then it will be Paraguay, but I'm moderately optimistic on that, because I observe that there is a general conclusion from here in the Indian side and in our side that will be good for us. But wait to see, no? Wait.
What we do, Excellency, there will be one stage interview, and we also divide these question-wise separate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about free trade agreement and maybe some addition of some products.
So as I was telling you, the possibility of expanding the existent trade agreement between Mercosur and India is something that I think might be done. As I was telling you, there is a general agreement in the Indian side and in the 4 countries, the 4 founding members of the bloc. So I am moderately optimistic about that. Okay. No, I won't say that will be concluded next week, but maybe in the upcoming months. I hope it's good for India, it's good for Argentina, good for Brazil, good for Paraguay, good for Uruguay, it's good for
the region.
Yes, very, because of what we were talking in the initial part of this conversation, that there is a very important level of complementarity between the economies of both sides.
And definitely, Excellency, as you said, it's one of the biggest country in terms of size, not just, but it is the country, India, a country where actually the biggest population in the world.
Yeah.
Almost 1.5 billion.
The country is growing more.
Growing more, and so many youngsters. We have more than 65% youth. talented youth, those who are very good in terms of English knowledge, and the number of startups in the last 2 years is the highest in the world. So do you think for our startups and our youngsters, two separate questions I'm asking. For startups, what is the opportunities in Argentina for Indian startups? And the second, those who are looking for the job opportunity, for the career opportunities in Argentina, these talented experts, how you think, how can you guide them?
Well, Argentina is a country that has a very skillful population, highly educated, so it is people that can work very good in that field. And another thing that it's very positive for you or for Indian companies working in those fields is that if they establish in a country as Argentina, they are in the same time zone as the US, so they can. From there, they can also work big in a big market, which is the US, in which you are working very much. That's what I learned from, for example, visiting, as I was telling you, some IT companies in places as Hyderabad here or Bangalore. And you find so many young people so talented in these fields that I must confess, it's not it's not something that I know. No, for us, they talk about the artificial intelligence and so things that maybe we don't know. We just we only can able to work one telephone, no, and it's complicated. But I think there are huge opportunities. But once again, I as a conclusion, I would say that the governments, we as in a diplomatic mission, we have to try to do our best to try to get together the two countries and to be able to get the bureaucracies in one part and in the other to be able to generate a framework in which these companies can work together, and that's what makes the countries great. That's what produces wealth. That's what produces investments. From investments comes jobs and opportunities for our people, from the Indian people, from the Argentine people. But sometimes we need governments, administrations to be able to permit that, because sometimes there is an excess of bureaucracy, no, in both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know more than me about that.
Yeah, and lastly, Excellency, guys, Global India Business Forum is trying our best in India, as we have so many members, thousands of members across India, and we always try our best that every country needs to be promoted properly in India, so that they should know about the country and the business needs to go, because the people-to-people contacts also increase. You already a part of one of our India, Latin America, Caribbean program in Hyderabad, and soon we are planning the third edition also. So this is our contribution to growth business and people-to-people contact. Do you have any comment on that, or any good progress what we need to do in future?
No, I think it's a great job you're doing promoting the links between the countries. It's very good, something that you do in terms of trying to set up those meetings, one time in Delhi, one time in Hyderabad.
And this time we are planning in Goa now.
Goa, well, that's very good, because the country is so big. The country is bigger than its territory, because the territory of India is very large, but in terms of population is so big, no? Because you go in this country from one city of 20 million people to another city of 15 million people, 10 million people, 30 million people. So it is really huge, and if you stay here only in Delhi, you don't see the rest of the country, and that's why we have been doing a great effort. As I was telling you, since I arrived here 1 year and a half, I made almost 40 trips around the country. Which is a great effort, no? But it's necessary.
It is, yeah.
Because unfortunately, we are not able to attend all the invitations, all the seminars, all the requirements that are all around the country. But we tried our best.
True.
We have a small staff here, no? We should have more.
And you have so much stretch.
Yeah, but So I think it's very good what you're doing, and I like very much this idea of a federal representation all around the country.
Yeah, thank you, Excellency. So, friends, we were talking about the Argentina opportunity in Argentina, and Excellency is so kind that he invited us here, and we had a really good discussion about the future of Argentina-India bilateral trade. He is not just ambassador of India, but he is also handling the Bhutan, Nepal, and other countries. And as he just said that in the 1.5 years, in the just span of 18 months, he traveled in India at least 30 locations, and in different other locations like Bhutan, Nepal, these are around 13 to 15 visits. So around 43-45 visits in the span of 18 months is not joke. So we really salute your contribution, not just for the India. As an ambassador, you are doing so good job for Argentina, India. We are really happy, Excellency, to meet you, and soon we will meet for the India Latin America Business Conclave and Caribbean also in Panji, Goa for the 3rd edition. Hope to have a good business together for long. Thank you for your presence.
No, thanks to you for coming here to the embassy, and all my best, and all my best for your people. Thank you.